Good morning, guys, gals. This is Ted from Pewview Farms. It is Tuesday morning, February something, and we're getting a nice early jump start on our morning. Just absolutely picturesque, beautiful morning. Like I say, I was up this morning about 4 o'clock, couldn't sleep, so I stepped outside, let the dogs out, and beautiful, beautiful full moon that was lighting up the snow and everything and just absolutely looked gorgeous. I just come out here like I do every morning as soon as I get up to check on the girls, and as you can see, everybody is nice, tight, and cozy, relaxing. And then you got another 4 out there. You can't really see through the wood and the gates, but everybody's all compacted together and they look pretty happy. I think the establishment of the pecking order, as Brad put it, is done, hopefully, for the day. But no, we're just out here. We're going to get some tools together, and we are going to take soil samples over there across the street today, and maybe this hayfield behind the house. Ground's probably definitely going to be froze pretty good, so one of my good buddies, Mark Cornell, gave me a good idea. I'm going to take one of them long 16-inch auger bits that I got for the cordless, and we're going to drill our soil samples that way, and we're going to do some soil samples today. Wish I could tell you I'd get some information on all that stuff today, but I imagine that takes a while. But that's the first step of doing it, so I think it's going to be all pretty cool. So, alright guys, I'm going to make a nice little vid out of this today, and hope you guys enjoy. I bet you guys just wanted to show you the beautiful scenery we got here this morning. Absolutely gorgeous. So, see you in a bit, guys. Okay guys, I am back. We got all of our supplies for doing some test drilling. We got the cordless drills, an extra battery. We got sandwich baggies for samples, and we got our auger bit. I was told probably the best way to get into this frozen ground would be that auger bit, which makes good sense. Gonna start going around, and I'm in the big pasture across the street right now. I'd have to say it's close to, let's just say 7 or 8 acres. I want to split it in half and do 2 samples out of this, and then the main paddock down over yonder by the barns, that's about 5 acres, so we'll do 1 out of that. And these are the 2 pastures that I want to concentrate on this summer, and try to make the best quality out of them as possible. So we're going to be doing some samples. So I'm going to get the drill here, and we're going to see how this works because we haven't tried it. So I'm going to try flipping you guys around. So the frost was about, I don't know, let's just say 3 inches deep. Probably if I had a bigger auger bit, be a little bit better. But it looks like we're getting a nice little amount right there out of one little test. So I think that'll be good. I'll do 5 of these, 5 or 6 of these within around a 5 acre guesstimate plot. And that should be enough for 1 sample. And I'll mark it on the baggie as quadrant 1 or something like that. And probably going to do about a dozen different samples. Got a big old garden that my parents have down below. And Dad was wondering if I get some samples on that for him, because he likes to plant his sweet corn down there. So we'll do that, and I think we're going to hit the hayfield behind the house, and I believe that's 20 acres. Well, hopefully I can get all this done today before I go to work, And I'll just keep showing you bits and pieces of this, guys. Really excited. This is the first time I've ever done this before on the farm. And we're heading in the right direction of improvement. It's going to happen. So, thanks, guys. I'll see you here soon. Okay, guys. We took our last core sample. I changed my mind. I'm a very indecisive person. Probably the sun. You ain't going to be able to see anything. But after walking this main pasture over here, it's probably just over 5 acres, maybe 6. Like I say, my guesstimates are, I never took a guesstimation class, so probably not the greatest. But so I took, I think this is sample number 9. So I took 9 core samples out of this main pasture, and I'll show you guys here. This is what I got so far. I think that's more than enough. I just popped a question into one of my good buddies, and he told me a good 2 cups worth is a good sample. So I believe we got enough. So we're going to put that in the bag. Let's see. Right here, this is all we've been doing, is just grabbing a handful of what we're bringing up with the auger bit. Trying to keep the snow and the ice out of it as much as possible, because I don't know if that's going to do anything. And that actually worked out really well. Mark Cornell, thank you. I'd be out here with a pickaxe and a shovel. But believe it or not, the frost in a lot of spots was non-existent. You know, after just getting through the layer of ice from the rain and stuff that we had underneath, there wasn't. I hit 2 spots where I had maybe like 3 inches of frost, and probably where the wind blew everything clear, and it was able to get a good freeze. So it's amazing what just a little bit of snow, how that acts as an insulation to this ground. It keeps it from freezing, and we've had some cold temps here recently. So kind of glad I'm not actually spread manure over here, because I believe if I broke through the ice, we'd be making a mess. And I know for a fact the hay fields would be the same way. So I know people ask, why you're not spreading manure and stuff like that, is because you don't want to tear stuff up. It just makes more work for you in the spring or the summer. And nobody likes rough fields and a rough pasture. So, but yeah, I think we got more than enough for our first sample. We're going to call that pasture 2. Down there is pasture 1. As you can see, the barns in the background. That's the main paddock pasture, that the first one that they go out into. So I'm going to go around there and probably take 7 core samples off of that, and just do all kinds of crazy zigzag patterns, and nothing really specific, and we'll get those together, and that'll be good for these 2 pastures. We're going to concentrate on these 2 pastures this year. The wooded pasture here and the wooded pasture over there, they're going to be a work in progress. As time goes by, we're going to slowly thin out these trees so we can get some undergrowth. Because like I said, right now in those pines, the only thing they're getting out of there is shade, and there's plenty to thin out and still give them plenty of shade in the summer. So, but that's going to be a work in progress. That'll happen over the next couple years for sure. But this is kind of the main goal. What we're doing today is going to find out what our ground is on these 2 pastures. So I'm going to get that marked pasture 2, and we'll start in on pasture 1. So I'm sure some of you may ask, why on earth is he out there in almost negative temps? I believe when I got out here it was 1 degree. Earlier it was -3. They ain't using the farm dog to walk around, Benchy. Well, you know what? When you got beautiful mornings like this, you take advantage of it. I mean, we live on a beautiful, beautiful world, guys. And to soak up this Mother Nature, I mean, I know I'm sounding all exotic and everything like that, but it's just to take it in. And what a better way to explore your property than to walk it. Anybody can hop on a four-wheeler or their farm dog and go check fences out and stuff like that, but to walk it and just enjoy what's here, guys, is just absolutely awesome. I mean, I'm having a blast. My fingertips are a little cold, but well worth it. That's for sure. Well worth it. So, I figured probably somebody might ask, what the heck is he doing in those temps? Well, we're enjoying our day. So, okay, guys, that completes the pasture test soils. We got pasture 2 and pasture 1 complete. We're going to bundle this up in the bucket, and we're going to trounce on over to the main hayfield that we've had on this farm ever since I can remember. And we're going to do some soil samples there. That, I'm pretty sure, is close to just under 20 acres. So I'll probably take 4 samples off of that. There's a variety of different grasses. And I know there's a couple specific spots in that field that are different than others. So I'll try to take that as a separate sample. But we'll head over there right now and do that, guys. All right, guys, we're over here in the main hayfield. And the more I think about this, we're going to do 3 samples here because to me there's kind of 3 variety of grasses. This upper part here has a majority of clover, and it streams down, I don't know, let's just say 50 yards in front of me. And then all the way down through the middle of the whole field from corner to corner is a really fine grass. I don't know if it's like a canary grass. And then up from the woods, probably up 50 yards, is another section that's very similar to this. So I'm going to do this in 3 pieces and try to do it, you know, according to how I feel the hay quality is, you know, similarities. And I think this upper part here is pretty well similar all the way across, and then the middle is definitely a little bit different. It's got that really thin grass, and then the woods is kind of similar to this mixed with that thin grass. So we're going to do this in 3 pieces, and we almost got this upper piece done. I've just taken 4 samples. I'm going to do probably another 3 more. That'll give me enough for the sample of number 1 here. And while I'm down there in the corner by the pines, my dad's got a big old garden. I'd say probably 60 by 200, and he primarily just puts a bunch of sweet corn in there for our own use, and we usually don't have a lot of luck. So I'm going to take samples in on that, and he'd really like to get that dialed in, and we'd like to get some good sweet corn and maybe sell some sweet corn in the summer. Be a nice little project for the boys. They need something to do this summer. They ain't going to be sitting on their butt all summer, that's for sure. So that's where we're at right now. All right, guys, we're back again. We are on, we're going to call it quadrant number 2 in the hayfield. Told you guys before I was going to do 3 sections. We're doing it in 2. It's going to be a little bit over 5 acres, but the more I think about it, like I said, I'm constantly indecisive, always changing my mind. There's about 2 types of grasses, and I want to show you right here's a really good example of what I was telling you about the fine grass. If you look down there, this section down here has a lot of this really thin grass. I don't know what it is. I'd have to do my research, or somebody obviously is going to tell me because they know. But this grass right here is there's a lot of that down here. And when I'm mowing this, whether it's first or second cutting, it's never as thick as the upper half. The upper half usually has a tendency to have lots of clover and lots of really thick blady grass, better stuff. We always seem to get some really good hay up out of there, but down here we got a lot of this. So I've just been zigzagging down here and taking frequent samples, and 2 more. This one and 1 more in the corner there, and we will be done with the hayfield. So, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about, that kind of grass. I don't know what it is. So, okay guys, we just completed the soil test. Like I said, we took 2 different samples out of the pastures up at the new farm, and we took 2 samples over here, the main hayfield behind the house. So that is complete. I believe we got a good thorough sample. I went around, did a really good zigzag X pattern, Z pattern, whatever you want to call it. Who knows? Knowing me, it might have been just an O pattern. But we went around, we took the samples, and I think I got plenty for each quadrant. And I'm going to head back up to the house and probably head down to the feed mill first and see what they got to say. Like I said, I heard that there's a free soil test. I want to see how elaborate or something like that is, or if I'm better off going over to our cooperative extension and talking to them. But I'd like to get an analysis of what we got going on here on the farm. Just a really quick look. I'm here along the edge of the woods, and what farm doesn't have scrap laying along the edge of the woods? It's an old mobile home trailer frame, and I'm looking at it, and originally the idea was gonna just pull it out of here with the tractor and bring the torches down and cut it up into sections and take it in for scrap. But the more I'm looking at it, and it's hard to tell right now whether how heavy it is or not. If that axle is still good, I see it's missing because it should have a dual axle on it, I would believe. But if that axle's still good, can't tell. Be interesting. It might make a nice round bale wagon. You get some heavy duty hardwood 4x4s to run up on top of that. Those 2 I-beams for cross runners, and might actually work. But then again, I don't know, because there's a lot of cantilever on the back end, and there's a lot of cantilever on the front end. That axle looked like it's almost centered. So I guess my worry would be that it'd be too much weight once you load bales on it. But I don't know. A possibility. You never know. My mind's always going in 1,000 different directions. So you get ideas like that when it does that. So, all right, guys, we're going to head back to the house and get these hands warmed up and get these bags cleaned up and head to the mill. All right, guys, obviously soil samples are done. I did it to the best of my knowledge and what I've learned from you guys. So I just ran down to the feed mill quick and asked what I needed to do. And you see, every day's a learning curve for me. I get fastballs thrown at me all the time. So I guess you don't just hand them in and they put it in the machine and they give you results. He told me I got to air dry this stuff. He said the best way to do that is just let it sit out, and it's got to be thoroughly air dried. So that's my next ballpark. That's my next route I got to go. So I got to figure out how I'm going to air dry these. And then he said bring it down and we'll package it up, and he'll send it off to Cornell, which is the cooperative. I'm actually going to call Cornell right now after I get done with you guys and see what they say. He also told me that with the hayfield, I told you guys I did 2 different quadrants just because I felt the different types of grasses and the way that it grows and stuff, that there might be 2 different soil compositions. And I'm trying to treat small sections at a time. He said just throw it all together in one bag. But I'd like to have, even if it comes as the same results, I'd like to treat small sections at a time instead of, going big. So I think I'm just going to keep everything individualized like I already did it. But that's where we stand. I was hoping I would make it a little bit further, but hey, I took the initiative. We got the samples, and we're going to get these air dried. But like I said, in the meantime, I am going to call the cooperative right up and get their words on their wisdom and knowledge. And, maybe they actually might have an air dryer system, or I just take the dirt to them and they perform all that. And if it is, it ain't that bad. It's only a 25-minute drive to their headquarters in our local area, and that might work also. So, and that being said, guys, thank you for coming along today, and thank you last night for all the gentlemen that showed up on the live stream. The live stream was for us to have a good old time and talk about frost seeding, and we got into soil testing, and that's why we soil tested today. So proactive is good, and we're trying to stay proactive on this farm. So that being said, guys, I look forward to talking to y'all real soon.